Hi guys. So it's Sunday when I'm filming this. I'm in an all one color suit as we do now these days. And I have been craving one of my favorite recipes from my cookbook. And I decided that I was gonna show you guys how to make it today because I want chocolate and these are amazing. So for those of you who are new here or who maybe forgot or were living under a rock, I have a cookbook. It came out last year. It's called Live Bees Vegan on a Budget. All the recipes are amazing, but one of my favorites is this chocolate raspberry mini cakes. I love this recipe for many reasons. One, because they are kind of like brownies. It's like a super dense fudgy cake that you just eat right out of the ramekin dish. Secondly, because they're so easy. I feel like sometimes people get intimidated when they hear the word cake, but these are seriously so simple and the ingredients are all things that you likely have on hand, nothing weird. Three, I don't know, there's no third reason, they're just amazing. So we're gonna get into this. Make sure you grab a copy of my cookbook. It's usually linked in the description box below, or you can just go to my website. It's livebee.com/cookbook, or you can just go to Amazon directly. So let's get into the recipe. So the recipe calls for a 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. Usually I just use canola or sunflower oil because it's already liquid and it's easy, but I don't have any and we're not going to the store. So I have coconut oil, but it's a little bit solid. So I'm just going to quickly melt it on the stove. You can do it if you have a microwave as well in the microwave. Okay, I just remembered the third reason why I love this recipe, and it's that it's a 1 bowl recipe if you don't count melting the oil. Let's pretend we don't have to do that. You want to preheat your oven to 350 Fahrenheit. We are going to whisk together the flour. You can definitely use gluten-free flour if you want. It might not rise as much, but I would just recommend a gluten-free baking blend because that's something that's formulated specifically for baking to help it rise. So then we're going to mix in the cocoa powder, sugar, and baking powder, and a little pinch of salt. And then you're just gonna whisk together all of those dry ingredients. And we're literally almost done. Like, that's how fast this recipe is. And then you just want to add in the non-dairy milk and your oil. And then just stir that all up. I like to use just a big wooden spoon for this. And you don't want to over mix it. Some small lumps are okay, and you'll see kind of what it looks like here in a second. So you can see there's still a few little lumps here and there, but that's as much as I'm going to mix it. The recipe calls for using 4 6-ounce ramekins. I'm pretty sure these are closer to like 8 to 10, so I'm just gonna use 2. But if you have the kind of normal size, smaller ramekins, those are perfect. And these will take a little bit longer to cook than what the recipe says, so keep that in mind if you are using a bigger size. So we're just dividing it between the 2 ramekins, or multiple if you're using smaller ones. Your batter also might look a little bit more runny if you're using an oil that's not coconut oil, because coconut oil solidifies at room temperature, so it starts to kind of re-solidify when it mixes with the cold milk. So that's why mine looks a little bit thicker, but just keep that in mind if you're using a different oil. And just as best you can, smooth it into an even layer. You're supposed to stir these into the batter, and then they're inside the cake. I'm just gonna put some little chocolate chips on top. So I'm just gonna press them into the top. They'll look like little chocolate chip cakes, chocolate chip cuties. So the recipe says to bake them for 22 to 26 minutes. Again, it kind of depends on the size of your ramekins. So I'm gonna start it at 30 because I know that these will take quite a bit longer because they're about double the size. So these are in for about 38 minutes, and I'll show you how to check if they're done. So you just want to take a fork or a toothpick and stick it not into a chocolate chip, but just kind of into the cake. And if it comes out clean or with just like a couple crumbs, then they are good to go. And then you just want to let them cool here for a little bit because they're still going to be super hot. I just can't, like, they're so fudgy. I literally always forget about this recipe when people ask what my favorite book recipe is, and I think this is like my favorite dessert recipe from the book. It's so good. If you want to serve them for guests or like anything fancy, in the book it says to dust some icing sugar on top, like some powdered sugar, and then put a couple raspberries with them. And it's just the perfect combo, but we don't really have a lot of fresh fruit lately, so I couldn't do that, but it's still good. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed this recipe. If you make these, definitely take a photo and tag me on Instagram. I'm at itslivb. That is everything for me today. Like I said, if you want to pick up my cookbook, it's on Amazon, Indigo, Barnes & Noble. And don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!